While the President of the United States is conducting negotiations, Iran has launched a wave of attacks against American targets in the Middle East. The Revolutionary Guards struck an American base in Kuwait. A tanker was hit by an unidentified object in the Strait of Hormuz. Are we returning to a state of active warfare? Under the cover of the crisis in Hormuz, the Revolutionary Guards are securing their nuclear assets. Tehran appears to be refusing to back down and is threatening, even if they hit us, we will send the region back to the Stone Age. Trump warned that Iran has one last chance to sign an agreement. And meanwhile, in Lebanon, Jordan, the Emirates, and even inside Iran itself, some believe that the Islamic Republic has taken the first steps towards complete surrender. So will Hormuz be opened in exchange for Iranian control? And is it possible that Trump has walked into a trap? At the same time, the IDF is raising the pressure against the Hamas terror organization in Gaza. The Israeli Air Force is carrying out a wave of targeted eliminations against Hamas terrorists, and the Israeli Air Force struck above the tunnels where dozens of Hezbollah terrorists are trapped in Lebanon. And another front is heating up. The Syrian army has deployed along the Iraqi border out of fear of an invasion by Shiite militias loyal to Iran. I'm Shoshani. Yael Pinto's filming up north, and I'll be joined by Ashlea Alex. We are boots on the ground, bringing you the truth about what's happening in Israel and the truth about what's happening in our neighborhood, the Middle East. Today is August the 4th, and this is our second report of the day. Let's begin. Less than 24 hours after it became clear that Tehran rejected the American compromise proposal, President Donald Trump released an unusual and especially harsh statement overnight. In it, he accused the Iranian leadership of being two-faced, of trying to deceive the world, and of deliberately presenting contradictory messages. The post, written in Trump's familiar aggressive style, signals that although the diplomatic channel is still open, tensions between the sides are once again escalating. And the White House is losing patience with what it describes as the Iranian games. Against the backdrop of President Trump's claims that negotiations with Iran are taking place, Iran's Revolutionary Guards attacked an American military base in Kuwait. And last night, Trump said, "Tomorrow you will understand where the negotiations stand. They will move quickly. Hormuz will open." According to the reports, the attack was carried out using 3 different drones. Iranian media reported overnight that explosions were heard in Kuwait and claimed that a United States military base in the country had been hit. So far, there has been no official confirmation from the United States or Kuwait. Now, at the same time, the United Kingdom Maritime Trade Operations, the lovely acronym UKMTO, announced that a cargo ship was hit by an unidentified object near the city of Hashib in Oman, in the area of the Strait of Hormuz. Now, according to the notice, no details were given about damage or casualties. The disruptions to shipping routes in the region are also being felt in the Red Sea. Houthi threats to impose a naval blockade on Saudi Arabia are forcing Saudi tankers and ships to sail around Africa on their way to Asia. The alternative route adds about 15 days to the journey and increases the costs of fuel, insurance, and transportation. And in addition, since the Houthi threats began last month, Saudi oil traffic through the Bab el-Mandab Strait has dropped by about half, and Trump himself continues to intensify the threats. In a statement he released, the president claimed that the Iranian leadership is incredibly hypocritical. In his words, according to him, the Iranians are asking for a meeting, and some would even say they are begging for one, but after the talks begin, and after additional talks are being planned for the near future, they publicly declare that they are not holding any discussions at all. Trump added that Tehran claims it's only holding contacts with Oman, while according to him, the United States is in fact holding talks in an effort to reach a solution to the crisis created by years of Iranian policy. Trump also referred to the Strait of Hormuz, claiming that Iran's statements about control of the strait are total nonsense. According to him, the strait is already under full control of the U.S. Armed Navy and what he called the steel wall of the United States. Trump's central message remains focused on the nuclear issue. At the end of his remarks, he wrote that whether Iran admits it or not, talks are taking place to solve the problem. But from Washington's perspective, the principle is clear. Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. At the same time, the U.S. Department of Defense has reportedly begun implementing an urgent and secret military plan to reduce the American aerial and offensive presence at the forward bases in the Middle East. This was reported by Aram News, citing Western sources. And according to the report, the intelligence assessment behind the plan determined that the traditional deployment of forces at forward bases has become a major vulnerability. The geographic proximity to Iran reportedly shortens the warning time for Patriot and THAAD systems to less than 2 minutes in the event of a missile launch or a suicide drone attack. These developments come amid tense exchanges between Washington and Tehran. In the United States, Iran is being presented as a regime under heavy pressure. The Iranian regime, on the other hand, is trying to present every possible contact as something that is not taking place directly with the Americans. Iran's leadership has rejected the latest American threats and made clear that it's prepared for a broad military confrontation. Iran continues to focus on the Strait of Hormuz as a pressure lever and mainly as a way to buy time, while the regime tries to move nuclear capabilities to protected sites. Iran is also relying on the Shiite militias in Iraq, which are applying pressure on the Americans across the Middle East. These militaries and militias were built by the former commander of the Quds Force, Qasem Soleimani, who was eliminated by the United States, in order to fight Iran's enemies outside its borders and keep the center of the fighting away from the territory of the Islamic Republic. The militias are the backbone of the so-called resistance forces in the region, and it appears that the Revolutionary Guards intend to defend them just as they defended Hezbollah. Now look, this past weekend can definitely be described as the moment when Israel came closest to another strike in Iran since February 28th. In Jerusalem, all the signs indicated that President Donald Trump had lost patience and intended to order a strike on Iranian infrastructure over the weekend. According to all assessments, Israel was supposed to be part of that strike, which explains the high alert over the weekend, including the mobilization of essential systems. During the meeting between Trump and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu at the White House last week, Netanyahu emphasized that additional strikes against targets in the area of the Strait of Hormuz could not truly change the situation. On the contrary, they would only strengthen the Iranians in the negotiations in their regional position by helping them deter Arab states. It appears that the understanding was to strike different targets, infrastructure targets, that could shake the regime's excessive sense of security and perhaps impose a price it has not been forced to pay up till this point. Trump was apparently convinced, and Israel went on alert. But then Sunday came. At 5 a.m. Israel time, Trump posted, "I canceled the attack on Iran." Israel was surprised, and the tension immediately dropped. And inside Iran, another drama is unfolding. A close associate of Mojtaba Khamenei revealed the ongoing confrontation between him and the president of Iran. The desire to resign, the retreat, and new details from recent days about Iran's supreme leader, who still has not been seen alive, are raising serious questions about who is truly ruling Tehran. And then on the Lebanese front, an Israeli Air Force strike was reported overnight in the area of al-Taher Ridge in southern Lebanon, above a tunnel system where Hezbollah terrorists are reportedly located. We'll bring you all the details, why they were struck there, and how the IDF is fighting the Hezbollah terrorist organization. And another front is heating up in the Middle East. Iraqi political sources reveal that Syria informed Iraq that any attack launched from Iraqi territory towards Syria will not go unanswered. In recent hours, reports have emerged that the Syrian army has deployed forces along the border with Iraq out of concern that Shiite militias loyal to Iran may invade its territory. There's a lot ahead of us. Let's dive into the details. I am Shoshani. Yael Pinto's filming up north, and Ashlea Alex will be with us today. We are boots on the ground, bringing you the truth about what is happening in Israel and about the war against the Revolutionary Guards in Iran, the head of the axis of evil in the Middle East. But before we begin, I want to call on you to keep spreading the truth. Share our content with as many people as possible. Click the subscribe button. And most importantly, don't forget to find Yael Pinto and Mati Shoshani, myself, on social media to get our first-hand perspective on what it's like to live in Israel under war. Life here in Israel keeps us moving. One day we're hiking desert trails, the next we're filming in remote locations, training or exploring ancient biblical sites. It's a kind of lifestyle that demands mobility and recovery. That's why I recommend using Ancient Nutrition Multi-Collagen Protein. It helps support healthy joints, skin, and overall recovery. Important when you're consistently and constantly active and putting your body to work. Ancient Nutrition Multi-Collagen Protein combines multiple collagen sources into one easy-to-use formula, and it fits perfectly into anyone's daily routine. Whether you're training, traveling, working long hours, or simply trying to support your health, mobility, and active lifestyle, Ancient Nutrition Multi-Collagen Protein is a simple way to support your body and keep moving forward. To try your own version of Ancient Nutrition Multi-Collagen Protein for yourself, visit ancientnutrition.com and use promo code Israel26 to save 26% on your order and support your health and benefit the mission of TBN Israel. Let's get back to the news. The overnight attacks described in our opening are the visible layer of this war. The deeper change is taking shape in central Iraq, much closer to Israel than the Houthi launch zones in Yemen. In the fortified area of the Julf el-Shakar, south of Baghdad, Iranian-backed militias have built a protected military enclave. Detailed regional reporting describes Houthi personnel operating inside this network, bringing drone expertise into territory controlled by Katib Hezbollah and closely connected to the Revolutionary Guards. Why would Iran move Yemenite specialists into Iraq while negotiations are supposedly moving forward? A drone launch from Iraq reaches Israel much faster than one launched from northern Yemen. The shorter route narrows the warning window and gives Israeli air defense crews less time to identify the weapon and select the correct interceptor. It also changes how an attack can be organized. A cell in Iraq can combine Iranian components, Houthi technical knowledge, and Iraqi crews. One group can assemble the drone, another can launch it, and an Iranian advisor can direct the operation without appearing at the same site. That confusion is deliberate. Tehran wants an attack to be effective, but difficult to attribute. Julf el-Shakar sits in Babil province, roughly 60 kilometers south of Baghdad. It has long been closed to most Iraqi security bodies. Drone facilities, missile depots, training areas, and command positions have been reported there for years. The Houthi representative in Iraq, Abu Idris al-Sharafi, has built relationships with militia commanders, tribal figures, and popular mobilization forces. Other Houthi personnel have been linked to the other organizations, and mobilization forces contain roughly 68 groups and an estimated 110,000 to 130,000 fighters. Not all of these answer to Tehran. Iran needs only several disciplined factions with missiles, drones, intelligence, and access to protected ground. After a missile attack was directed towards an American base in Jordan, American and Saudi forces struck militias positioned in Iraq. At least 20 militia fighters were reportedly killed. Even that response can serve Iran. Every American strike inside Iraq expands the conflict, pressures Baghdad, and forces Washington to defend bases across a wider map. The Eastern Front is also pressing against Syria. Syrian forces have deployed along the Iraqi border amid concerns that Iranian-backed militias could cross westward or reopen smuggling routes towards Lebanon. Damascus is trying to block the old Iranian land corridor through El-Qaim and El-Bukamal. The route once carried weapons and fighters from Iran through Iraq and Syria to Hezbollah. Closing it forces Tehran to rely more heavily on hidden depots, local production, and militia enclaves. The same strategic battle is unfolding in southern Lebanon. An Israeli fighter reportedly struck above the tunnel zone at al-Taher Ridge, where dozens of Hezbollah terrorists are believed to be trapped. Lebanese reports suggested bunker-penetrating weapons because of the strength of the explosions, although the munition has not been officially identified. The objective is to break a system designed to protect commanders, store weapons, and keep fighters moving beneath the mountains after their positions above ground are destroyed. Now, before we continue, help us share the truth from Israel. Like this report, share it, and subscribe to Boots on the Ground so you don't miss the next change in this rapidly developing war. What you see on YouTube is only part of the story. Get closer to our firsthand reporting, behind-the-scenes moments, and stories of faith, resilience, and hope from Israel at www.tbn.org/journeys/boots. You can also text the word boots to 316-316 in North America to receive direct updates from TBN Israel. Now, when Yair and I report from Israel, you're not only watching events from a distance, you're seeing what is happening through the eyes of people who live here on the ground. Iran is using this pressure to buy its most valuable military resource, which is time. Israeli assessments say Tehran wants to transfer more nuclear capabilities into hardened underground sites near Isfahan and at Pickaxe Mountain, close to Natanz. A confrontation over Hormuz keeps the world focused on ships and oil, while nuclear infrastructure can be dispersed, repaired, and protected. The question is whether Washington is preparing to strike those sites or repositioning its forces to survive Iran's first response. For the American side of this story, here is our very own Ashlea Alex. Let us know in the comments if you appreciate her reporting. She is a new member of this team. She needs to hear your love and your appreciation in the comments section.
The Pentagon is reportedly changing the way American air power is positioned across the Middle East. A report based on unnamed Western sources say F-15 and F-16 squadrons, together with aerial refueling aircraft, have been moved away from exposed airfields close to Iran. Some aircraft were reportedly shifted toward the Mediterranean and fortified bases in southern Europe. The Pentagon has not publicly confirmed the plan, and that distinction is important. Yet the operational logic is easy to understand. At several forward bases, an Iranian missile or one-way attack drone could arrive within less than 2 minutes of warning. That leaves little time to move aircraft, protect crews, or prepare interceptors. A saturation attack could also force Patriot and THAAD batteries to engage many threats at once. Moving aircraft farther away does not necessarily mean the United States is abandoning the strike option. A fighter sitting on an exposed runway is a target. The same aircraft operating from a protected base, supported by tankers and long-range systems, remains a weapon. This type of dispersal also makes Iranian planning harder. Tehran must track more bases, longer routes, additional tanker movements, and naval launch platforms. American destroyers equipped with the Aegis combat system are reported to remain on high alert in the Eastern Mediterranean and the Arabian Sea. Those ships can track missiles, defend naval routes, and add another layer to the regional air defense picture. The most sensitive part of the report concerns Israel. American F-35 aircraft in Israel were reportedly excluded from the wider relocation because Israel's layered defenses, reinforced by THAAD, may offer better protection and preserve a rapid strike force near Iran. That specific claim has not been confirmed by the Pentagon. It must be treated as a report and not as an official American announcement. President Trump is trying to make this military posture serve two political messages. To Iran, he says the United States can strike whenever it chooses. He calls the talks Tehran's final chance, says the American Navy controls Hormuz and warns that nothing will reach Iran unless Washington permits it. To American voters, he says diplomacy is receiving every opportunity because he does not want more people killed. That balance is becoming harder. A new AP NORC poll found that roughly 2/3 of American adults believe the war with Iran has not been worth fighting. Opposition is strongest among Democrats and independents, but frustration has also grown among Republicans. The public measures the war through casualties, military spending, fuel prices, and the possibility of another long commitment in the Middle East. The administration measures the risk differently. A nuclear threshold Iran, pressure on global shipping, and a proxy network that can attack American forces without exposing Tehran directly. Trump, therefore, needs an agreement that can be presented as more than another pause. He needs visible results. The first would be a functioning Strait of Hormuz. The second would be enforceable limits on Iran's nuclear program. The third would be a measurable reduction in attacks by the Revolutionary Guards and their regional partners. Iran disputes the starting point. Trump says negotiations are already taking place. Tehran says it's speaking only with Oman about maritime navigation. Both statements may contain part of the truth. Messages can pass through Oman, Qatar, or Pakistan without American and Iranian delegations sitting in the same room. Trump can call that negotiation. Iran can deny that formal talks have begun. The important question is what those messages produce. Oman and Iran have publicly confirmed work on the future administration of navigation, the services provided to ships, and the related costs. Under the reported framework, vessels entering the Persian Gulf would use a northern lane closer to Iran. Ships leaving would travel through a southern lane nearer Oman. The arrangement could separate traffic while mines are cleared and security procedures are established. Washington rejects any system requiring Iranian permission or a compulsory toll. Iranian officials use a different description. They say vessels may pay service fees for security, environmental work, personnel, or navigation support. An American official disputes that account and says a temporary route should require neither Iranian permits nor fees. Iran also says a route agreement is necessary, but not sufficient. Tehran demands an end to American attacks and relief from the naval blockade on Iranian ports. Iran wants to exchange limited maritime cooperation for military and economic breathing space. It also wants Iran and Oman, the two coastal states, to shape the future administration of the strait. Washington wants safe passage without turning the Revolutionary Guards into the gatekeepers of global energy. This is not a minor disagreement over wording. It will determine whether the agreement restores freedom of navigation or recognizes a new Iranian role over an international waterway. Matti, back to you.
Thank you very much, Ashlea Alex. Guys, show some love to Ashley in the comment section. Now let's get back to the news. Iranian propaganda is already presenting American force protection as defeat. Mohsen Ghazai, a former commander of the Revolutionary Guards, claims Washington considered using 40,000 to 50,000 troops in a ground and airborne operation to seize Hormuz and strike nuclear facilities. He also claims Iranian attacks forced American commanders and forces to retreat across the region. No public American evidence confirms those claims. They're Tehran's version of events designed to portray every American repositioning as a collapse. The propaganda is still built around a real vulnerability. American bases near Iran are exposed to missiles and drones. Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Jordan, Kuwait, and the United Arab Emirates understand that a major American attack could bring Iranian retaliation onto their territory. That fear is one reason Gulf leaders continue demanding a diplomatic exit. And inside Iran, President Masoud Pezeshkian says his country does not want to widen the war, but will defend its borders. Reports about repeated resignation threats and a confrontation with hardline officials are denied by his office. The reports may reflect a real struggle, political propaganda, or a combination of the two? Whatever is happening inside the leadership, the Revolutionary Guards still possess the weapons, the proxy relationships, and economic power required to continue the confrontation. Every side is speaking about an agreement or preparing for its collapse. Will the next launch come from Iran, Yemen, or the new operational front being built inside Iraq? Guys, keep spreading the truth. Follow us, and most importantly, don't forget to click the subscribe button so that you stay tuned into the truth in real time and never miss boots on the ground. Keep looking for me, Mati Shoshani, and Yael Pinto on social media to see life in Israel through our eyes. And don't forget to pray for Israel. Guys, I want to challenge you all. Go to the comment section and tell us where you are in the world and how you're praying for what's happening in this part of the world on an active basis. We are not called to be passive bystanders. We're not called to be observers. We're not called to be only monks that pray in the mountains and the cliffs and the caves. We are called to change and transform this earth. And part of the way we're called to do that is by praying on a regular basis. So I challenge every one of you, yes, you at home, to pray daily for what's happening in this part of the world. Remember, God is sovereign. God tells us what he's going to do. He then does it. He's been faithful to Israel through scripture and through history and even today. And what we're witnessing in front of our eyes is his will unfolding. So keep praying for Israel. Keep praying for our leadership, President Trump, Prime Minister Netanyahu. Even if we disagree, they're still the appointed leaders and they need our prayer. They need our support. They need to be upheld, and hope and pray that they make the wisest decision in this very important battle against the evil of our time, the Iranian regime, the Ayatollahs, the IRGC that lead the country. And pray, if you don't know how to pray, for God's will to be done on earth as it is up in heaven. Be blessed, and I'll see you all the next time. Hello, this is Mati here in Jerusalem with TBN Israel.
This is Yael Pinto from TBN Israel here in Jerusalem. TBN Israel is keeping viewers informed with Israel-focused news, culture, and what God is doing in this land.
Support TBN Israel today online at tbn.org/Israel. Thank you.